The twin suns of Dracor Prime beat down mercilessly on Rylandor's shoulders as he navigated the crystalline canyon. His environmental suit's cooling system whirred in protest, struggling against the planet's extreme heat. He wasn't supposed to be here, no human was. The Drakari territories were strictly off-limits according to the Galactic Council's treaties. But Ryland had never been one for following rules when lives were at stake. The distress beacon had been faint, almost imperceptible against the background radiation of the planet's magnetic storms, but Ryland's modified scanner had picked it up and something in his gut told him to investigate. That instinct had saved countless lives during his years as a deep space rescue operator, and he wasn't about to ignore it now. What he found at the bottom of the ravine made his breath catch. A dragon hatchling no larger than a human child lay trapped beneath a collapsed rock formation. Its scales, which should have shimmered with iridescent blues and purples, were dull with pain and dehydration. One wing was bent at an unnatural angle, and shallow breaths caused its small chest to rise and fall erratically. "Easy there, little one," Ryland whispered, approaching slowly. The hatchling's golden eyes tracked him with surprising awareness, and a weak growl rumbled from its throat. Dragons were apex predators across dozens of star systems, sentient beings whose intelligence rivaled or exceeded most spacefaring species. Even as a baby, this creature could probably tear through his suit with ease, but it didn't. Instead, those ancient eyes seemed to measure him, to see something that made the growl fade into a pitiful whimper. Ryland worked quickly, using his portable plasma torch to cut away the rocks. The hatchling flinched at each sound but didn't retreat. When the final stone was lifted away, Ryland carefully examined the injured wing. The membrane was torn and the bone was fractured. Without immediate medical attention, the hatchling would never fly again. "I'm going to help you," Ryland said, knowing the creature probably couldn't understand standard galactic. "But this is going to hurt." He pulled out his emergency medical kit and began working. The hatchling, Kareth, according to the identification chip his scanner detected, bit down on a piece of rubberized equipment but didn't pull away. Ryland splinted the wing as best he could and administered a broad-spectrum painkiller that his database suggested might work on Drakari physiology. As he worked, Ryland's proximity sensors began screaming warnings. Multiple large signatures were approaching fast, moving with the coordinated precision of a hunting pack. His blood ran cold. "Adult dragons. The pack. We need to move," Ryland muttered, carefully lifting Kareth into his arms. The hatchling was heavier than expected, its scales warm even through his suit's gloves. But before he could take 3 steps, they appeared. 12 fully grown dragons materialized from behind crystalline formations, their scales reflecting the sunlight in dazzling arrays of color. Each stood nearly 4 meters tall at the shoulder, with wingspans that could eclipse a small spacecraft. Their eyes, brilliant and intelligent, fixed on Ryland with an intensity that made every survival instinct in his body scream for him to run. The largest dragon, her scales a deep crimson shot through with veins of gold, stepped forward, her lips curled back to reveal teeth the size of Ryland's forearm. A low rumble emanated from her chest, a sound that vibrated through the ground and into Ryland's bones. This was it. He'd violated their territory and touched one of their young. According to everything humanity knew about Drakari culture, he should be incinerated where he stood. Ryland stood his ground, holding Kareth carefully. "I was helping," he said simply, knowing they probably couldn't understand him. The little one was hurt. Kareth chose that moment to chirp, a soft, almost musical sound, and nuzzle against Ryland's chest. The hatchling's tail wrapped weakly around his arm in what could only be described as an embrace. The crimson dragon's eyes widened. She looked at Kareth, then at Ryland, then back to her offspring. The rumbling stopped. A tense silence fell over the canyon, broken only by the whistling wind and the hum of Ryland's suit. Then, something unbelievable happened. The crimson dragon lowered herself to the ground, her massive head coming to rest just inches from Ryland's face. Her hot breath washed over his helmet, fogging the viewport, and then she did something that shattered everything the galaxy thought it knew about dragons. She bowed. One by one, the other dragons followed suit. 12 apex predators, beings that had conquered star systems and brought civilizations to their knees, pressed their foreheads to the crystalline ground before a lone human. Ryland's hands trembled as understanding dawned. In Drakari culture, saving a hatchling was the highest honor. The pack wasn't going to kill him. They were accepting him. The crimson dragon rose and made a gesture with her wing, a clear invitation. Rylan found himself being led deeper into the canyon, surrounded by the pack. They brought him to a hidden grotto where luminescent crystals cast everything in an ethereal glow. A healing pool, fed by underground thermal springs rich with minerals, bubbled in the center. With surprising gentleness, the pack's matriarch took Kareth from Rylan's arms and placed the hatchling in the pool. Other dragons brought herbs and plants, creating a poultice that they applied to Kareth's wing. They worked with medical precision that spoke of thousands of years of accumulated knowledge, but they didn't dismiss Rylan. Instead, they made space for him, allowing him to stay by Kareth's side. The hatchling kept one small claw wrapped around Rylan's gloved finger, refusing to let go. As the suns began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, the matriarch approached Rylan once more. She touched her forehead to his helmet, a gesture of profound respect, and a deep, resonant voice filled his mind. "You are pack now, Rylan Dor, your dragon friend." Tears streamed down Rylan's face as the magnitude of what had happened settled over him. Humanity had spent centuries trying to establish diplomatic relations with the Drakari, always failing, always being seen as lesser beings. One act of compassion had accomplished what governments and councils never could. Kareth chirped again, and Rylan laughed, a sound of pure joy that echoed through the grotto. He had come to Dracor Prime expecting nothing more than a routine rescue. He was leaving as something unprecedented, the first human to ever be adopted into a dragon pack, and a bridge between two species that would change the galaxy forever.